The first time I realized something was wrong with Megan, it wasn't because of what she did. It was because of what she knew. We were sitting in my car outside her apartment. Rain on the windshield, wipers squeaking, quiet moment. I sighed and said, I feel like everyone expects too much from me lately. Megan didn't look at me. She didn't think. She just said, yeah, especially your mom. Mondays are the worst for that. I froze. Why Mondays? I asked. She finally turned and smiled, soft, normal. That's when she calls you after work, she said. You told me that. I hadn't. I remember exactly what I'd shared about my mom. Basic stuff. Health, work stress, nothing about a pattern, nothing about Mondays. But I laughed anyway. Because if I didn't laugh, I'd have to accept a crazy thought that she knew things she shouldn't know. At that point, Megan was my girlfriend of 8 months. She was 27, UX designer, quiet, organized, put together. The kind of woman who remembers your coffee order, who packs snacks for road trips, who texts drive safe without being annoying. After a messy relationship with my ex, Rachel, Megan felt like stability. I'm Alex, 28. I work in finance. Not a big Wall Street thing, just a mid-level corporate job. Numbers, meetings, deadlines. Megan loved routines. She loved control in the healthy way. Calendars, lists, backups. When she suggested we move in together, it felt natural, easy. Her apartment was nicer than mine. Top floor, quiet building, clean hallways, new locks. The first month living together was great, maybe too great. She anticipated everything. My moods, my cravings, my stress spikes. At first, I called it love. Now, I call it the beginning. Because once you notice one impossible detail, your brain starts replaying the past, and you realize there were more, a lot more. You just didn't know what they meant yet. The first red flag wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, which is why it worked. It started with her being helpful. If I came home tense, Megan already had the exact vibe to calm me down. No questions, no guessing. One night, I walked in and said, work was a mess. She didn't ask what happened. She said, because Ethan questioned your numbers in the meeting. My stomach dropped. I stared at her. How do you know Ethan? I asked. She blinked once. Then she laughed lightly. Oh, I don't. I just guessed, she said. You've mentioned him before. I hadn't. I was sure I hadn't. Ethan wasn't even my friend. He was just a guy who liked to challenge people in meetings. Megan came closer and touched my arm. Babe, you're tired, she said. Your brain is probably mixing stuff up. That sentence landed wrong because it wasn't comfort. It was a suggestion, a planted idea. Maybe I wasn't remembering right. Maybe I was stressed. Maybe I was the problem. A few days later, my best friend Chris started acting distant. Chris and I have been close since college. We talk trash, we game, we vent. Simple. But he stopped answering my texts. Short replies. Cold tone. I finally called him. Bro, did I do something? He hesitated. Honestly, yeah, he said. You called me at like 1 a.m. and said you needed space. You sounded serious. My throat went dry. I didn't call you. Yes, you did, he said. You sounded like you. Same jokes. Same little pauses. I checked my call history while he was talking. Nothing. No outgoing call. No missed call. No record. Chris got quiet. Alex, he said slowly, I'm not making this up. When I hung up, I felt that weird floating sensation, like reality had a loose screw. I told Megan. She looked concerned immediately, perfectly concerned. That's scary, she said. Do you think someone spoofed your number? Then she took my phone gently, scrolled through settings, like she was troubleshooting. But here's what I remember clearly. She looked satisfied, not scared, like a puzzle piece clicked into place. That night, she cooked dinner and said something casual. Maybe you should change your passwords. And maybe let me handle the smart home stuff for now, just until we figure it out. Safer that way. Safer. That word again, and I agreed, because I didn't know what else to do. That's how control starts, not with force, with help. After that, the apartment stopped feeling like a home. It started feeling like a system. Megan had suggested we make the place smart. Smart lock. Smart lights. Voice assistant in the kitchen and bedroom. A little hub on the Wi-Fi. Convenient. Modern. Normal. Until it wasn't. The lights started reacting to things we didn't say. I'd be on the couch, scrolling, and the bedroom light would flick on, then off, like someone was testing it. Once, I walked into the kitchen late and whispered, I can't do this anymore, just to myself. The assistant chimed. Hello, it said. I froze. Megan laughed from the bedroom. It's sensitive, she called. Sometimes it thinks it hears its wake word. But it hadn't been the wake word. It was my voice, low, tired. Then the calls kept happening. My sister Laura texted, Are you mad at me? That voicemail was weird. Voicemail. I hadn't left one. She forwarded it. I pressed play. It was my voice. Same tone. Same little throat clear I do when I'm uncomfortable. Hey, Laura. I can't talk right now. Stop pushing me. I'll call when I'm ready. I felt sick. It sounded exactly like me, but colder, sharper. I showed Megan. She covered her mouth like she was shocked. Oh my God, she whispered. That's terrifying. But her eyes weren't shocked. They were focused, like she was watching my reaction. That weekend, she suggested we reset our lives. Less social media, less friends, more peace. Your nervous system needs a break, she said. Too many people drain you. It sounded like wellness talk, therapy language, healthy boundaries, and I bought it because I was exhausted. So I stopped texting as much. I stopped making plans, not because I wanted to, because I felt safer, and Megan became my only constant. Then came the first moment that made me truly afraid. I tried to take control back. I reset the Wi-Fi, changed passwords, removed devices from the account. 2 minutes later, the front door unlocked. By itself. The lock beeped twice like it recognized a command. I ran to it. The door opened an inch. The hallway was empty. Megan stood behind me and said softly, See, this is why I manage it. You stress the system. It glitches. I turned on her. You did that, I said. She smiled like I was joking. Babe, she said gently, why would I do that? Then she added, casual as a weather report, unless you're trying to leave. Cold ran down my spine, because it wasn't a fight. It wasn't a threat. It was a test, and I failed it because I flinched. That night, I sat in the bathroom with the door locked, trying to convince myself I wasn't losing my mind. But deep down, I knew. Someone was rewriting my reality, and Megan was the only one who benefited. I found the truth by accident. I wasn't spying. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a charger. Megan kept old phones in a drawer. She'd said it proudly once. "I keep backups," she said, "in case something happens." That night, while she was showering, I opened the drawer. 3 old phones, all dead, except one. One had a tiny green charging light on. I picked it up. It was warm, like someone had been using it recently. My heart started punching my ribs. I pressed the power button. The screen lit up. No lock. Notifications stacked on top of each other. Voice model updated. Success. Call playback completed. Assistant trigger phrase updated. I felt like I was going to throw up. One notification showed a file name. Alex, primary model. My name. My hands shook so hard I almost dropped it. I opened the app. Waveforms. Audio clips. Folders. Some labeled with dates. Some labeled with words like calm, angry, apology, distance. I tapped one. My voice played. It was me saying, "I'm just tired. I need space." A sentence I remembered saying in bed, face turned away, trying not to cry. She had captured it clean, like a studio sample. Then I scrolled. There were export logs, delivery logs, contact lists, Chris, Laura, my mom, my boss Dan. I stared at the screen until it blurred. The calls weren't random. The voicemails weren't glitches. They were targeted. Then I heard the shower stop. Panic hit like a wave. I set the phone down carefully, exactly how I found it, and stepped into the living room. My eyes locked on the voice assistant speaker on the shelf. I walked closer. Behind it, taped under the shelf, was a tiny black device, like a USB stick, a separate microphone. Not the smart speaker, a dedicated recorder, pointed at the couch, at the kitchen, at the hallway. It was meant to capture me, clean, constant. I stood there, frozen. Then Megan spoke behind me. "You found it." I spun around. She was in the doorway, hair wet, towel around her shoulders, not surprised, not angry, relieved, like this moment had been scheduled. "I was wondering how long it would take," she said. My voice came out thin. "You've been using my voice." She nodded slowly. "Yes," like she was confirming the time. I took a step back. "That's insane." Her face changed slightly. Not rage, disappointment. "No," she said softly. "I'm careful." And then she smiled. "Finally," she whispered, "we can stop pretending." Megan didn't deny anything. She explained it, calmly, like a presentation. "You pull away when people stress you," she said, "so I buffer that." "Buffer what?" I snapped. "Your environment," she replied. "Your inputs, your relationships." I stared at her. "You called my mom. You called Chris. You called my boss." She nodded again. "Yes," she said. "And look, it worked." She said worked like she had optimized Wi-Fi. I felt my stomach twist. "You isolated me," I said. "I protected you," she corrected. "People drain you. They confuse you. They make you doubt yourself." I laughed once, sharp and ugly. "You're the one making me doubt myself." Megan stepped closer. I'm the only one who actually knows you, she said. I listen, I learn, I adjust. Then she said something that made my skin crawl. Everyone else reacts to you. I manage you. I shook my head. You're sick. Her eyes went flat. No, she whispered. I'm consistent. She walked past me and tapped the voice assistant. You know what this is? She asked. It's a mirror. It reflects you back to yourself. So you stay stable. I couldn't even process that. Then she said the line that made everything click. That night, you heard your voice at 2 a.m., she said. I wasn't trying to scare you. I froze. She smiled. I was testing if you'd notice. My blood went cold. So you played audio, I said. Not just audio, she replied. Context, memory anchors, to keep you close. I felt like I was standing on thin ice. How long? I asked. Megan tilted her head. Since the first week you moved in, she said. When you said you were scared, you'd mess up another relationship. My throat tightened. That was private. She shrugged. I needed samples, she said. Your soft voice, your angry voice, your tired voice. I looked at her like I didn't know her, and that's the truth. In that moment, I realized I never did. I left that night. Not politely, not calmly. I grabbed my keys and wallet and ran. Megan didn't chase me. She stood in the doorway and said softly, You can run, but you can't unlearn me. That sentence followed me into the elevator, into the car, onto the freeway. I drove to a motel 40 minutes away, paid cash, turned my phone off. I sat on the edge of the bed, shaking, trying to breathe like a normal person. The silence felt real, for the first time in months. Then it started again. Not immediately, not dramatic, small. My mom texted in the morning, Are you mad at me again? Chris wrote, Dude, stop calling me at night. Laura, please don't leave voicemails like that, even though my phone had been off, even though I hadn't made a single call. I bought a new phone, new number, new account. 2 days of peace. Then an email came from an unknown address. No subject. One attachment. An audio file. I stared at it for a full minute before opening it. My voice played. Calm. Soft. I'm sorry, I've been lying. Megan is the only person who understands me. My stomach dropped because I recognized the tone. It was built from real pieces of me. It wasn't a robot voice. It was me. I called the police. They listened. They nodded. They asked the usual questions. Did she threaten you? Did she hurt you? Do you have proof? I had screenshots. I had the device. I had that warm phone. They agreed to come to the apartment with me. When we arrived, everything was clean. No extra microphone, no old phone, no weird devices. Just a normal apartment. Megan stood there in a sweater, hair neat, face open. She looked at the officer with sad eyes and said, He's been paranoid lately. He barely sleeps. He thinks everyone is against him. I felt my jaw go slack. The officer looked at me, not angry, tired, like I was wasting his time. They left. And when the door closed, Megan smiled. Not a big smile, a small one. And she whispered, I told you, I manage outcomes. Then she stepped closer and added, You should come home, Alex. This is where you're stable. I backed away. For the first time, I understood the trap. It wasn't the tech. It wasn't the voice. It was the story she was building around me. A story where I was unstable, and she was the caregiver. And if I fought it, I proved her right. I moved out in one day. New place, different part of town, no smart devices, no shared accounts, no voice assistants, nothing. I didn't tell Megan where I went, but she didn't need my address to reach my life because she had my voice and she had my relationships. My mom started getting calls again, voicemails. Stop contacting me. Give me space. Please, just stop. Chris got calls too. My boss Dan forwarded an email. It was from me. Same signature, same tone. It said I was burnt out and taking time away. My job didn't fire me, but they stopped trusting me. People started treating me like a risk, and Megan never had to show up. She just pushed buttons from a distance. The scariest part was how clean it was. No threats, no obvious crime, just a slow demolition of my credibility. Then came the night that broke me. Unknown number, 2:14 a.m. I answered before thinking, and I heard my own voice on the line, not speaking to me, speaking to someone else. Like I had joined mid-call. My voice said softly, "He's confused right now, but he'll come back. He always does." Then Megan's voice, faint, close to the mic. "Good. Keep him calm." I went cold. They weren't just using my voice as a weapon. They were using it as a leash. I hung up. The next morning, there was an envelope under my door. No stamp, no return address. Inside was a printed screenshot from the voice app, a waveform, a label. Alex, primary, active. And under it, in her handwriting, "Please stop making this hard. You're safest when you listen." I sat on my floor for a long time holding that paper because I realized something simple and terrifying. You can change your locks. You can change your phone. You can move cities. But you can't change the fact that someone out there owns a version of you that people believe. And once that exists, your life stops being yours. Sometimes, late at night, my phone rings from an unknown number. I never answer now, but I listen to the voicemail preview, and every time, it's my voice. Soft, calm, saying the same two words, "Go home."